Hey, good morning, folks. How you doing? I'm tempted to say, well, actually, I think I said good morning, didn't I? I've been in the morning since, well, this morning. I had intended to get this going a lot earlier in the day, but it's taken all day to get everything set up, get everything prepped, but here we are. So, hey, Bobatus, how are you doing? Glad to see you here. Glad you're doing well. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just jump straight in. So here's the deal. For folks who haven't done this before, I'm going to pick an image that I'm going to put on the screen. I'm going to pick a song, which I can't play on the stream because it's going to be licensed and I don't want to get in trouble. Paximus, good to see you here. Welcome. So that image and that song are meant to just sort of, you just sit there and look at the picture, listen to the music, and kind of ask yourself, okay, what's going on here? And hopefully that kind of inspires a short story. Now, here's the thing. The list I'm using is one that I curate. It's oriented around things that work for me. It's, if it isn't working for you, I suggest go to Unsplash, type in a term like darkness, fear, anxiety. Well, just find something and see what kind of images come up. Pick your own picture. Pick something from your own playlist and just, go to town. So this also, as sort of a third element to this today, I'm also going to be picking a random phrase. And I'll show you what that means in a little bit. So I'm going to try to write without the phrase initially. But the phrase is meant to be just a little bit more of a boost, right? Sort of a creative push in case anyone's still kind of stuck and just the ideas aren't quite coming yet. So personally, I like to work just from the image and the music itself because that leaves it a little bit more wide open. But, if that's not enough, some days, the ideas just aren't going to cooperate. And so we'll see if we can bribe the muse just a little bit here with some additional information. So let's go ahead and pick the image. All right. There we go. It seems seasonally appropriate, right? Right? Yeah, that definitely works. You make it a little bigger so it fills up the screen better. Oop, too much. There we go. And I'm going to go pick a song. Now, I'm going to do a quick post here where I post a link to, if I can find the song that I'm using on YouTube, then I'll post a link to that. I'm starting to think, though, like I'm the sort of person who can listen to one song for a full 2 hours, and as I'm working, it doesn't bother me at all. I think I'm kind of weird in that way. So if you need to work from like maybe you make a playlist and you just let the playlist go through, maybe that's a thing too. The story's the thing, right? Use what works for you. Like I'm actually going to let that picture bias me just a little bit and pick something from a particular sort of vein of music here. That works. Okay. Let me get that listed. Very different than what I normally like play in the background on my streams. This, now again, it's a choral piece. It's got a lot of dissonance in it, so it's probably, I don't know if it's going to be everyone's jam. That's okay. It is a piece by Eric Whitacre called Oculi Omnium. See, make sure I picked one that has the whole thing. That looks right. Hey, I know you. So for folks who don't know, Teal Orca is actually my wife. She will be joining us for Short Story Saturday today, so hooray! Welcome! She's also sitting within earshot, so it feels funny talking to her on chat. But there you go. I haven't seen your icon on there. That's kind of fun. And where do I have that thing? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yep, there's that. Go to Unsplash and get the link to that image. Sorry, I will be working on a better way to get all this stuff set up. Sorry, what was that? From Twitch, yeah. It shows it in my chat.
It didn't show it in mine because I presume it's because I know what I look like.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I went through my list today and got rid of a bunch of things that were kind of formatted poorly, just wouldn't work very well. Things that I worried just wouldn't be good. Just wouldn't work well for what we're doing here. I don't actually. No, I don't know where that is. Okay, almost there. Yeah, I would like to at some point work on a thing where I can basically just click a button and all this just kind of works. But again, we're not quite there yet. Let's download that picture. Get it nice full resolution there. Kind of reminds you of an Agatha Christie scene from And Then There Were None, picture on the screen, or Abbott and Costello, hold that ghost movie. Nice. It is, I will admit, it is a little bit on the nose, so that's okay. I think this will be a good one. I'll go ahead and post that random phrase I was talking about, and we'll see how it pairs up with this. Should be interesting. I tell you, the music that's playing in the background, just the normal stream music, is actually kind of killing the vibe for me. So I gotta shut that down here before too long. Also, slow computer, not helping. It's not really a slow computer, it's just everything keeps getting bigger. Okay. Okay, finally. Get down here. All right, let's see. How shall we do this? Tell you what, it is Teal's first time on the stream. Why don't you pick a number from a random number from 1 to 15? Okay. Good. That's a good one. So on my list, 12 is This Is Our Prison. Now, you don't have to use that. Again, it's there to kind of help if the ideas aren't coming on their own. But personally, I kind of like that. I think that works. Like we're going into spooky season, just swear on, right? Yeah, that works. This is our prison was the phrase. Yes, it is. All the phrases are simple sort of ideas. They're things like, this is where I was born, this is where the war started. Today it is, this is our prison. Okay. Saving that. Yep, that works. Okay. So I'm going to post, if you go to cancan'twrite.com, I'm going to post something here. That includes the image, a link to the original, the full-size image, a link to the photographer who took it, the song on YouTube where you can listen to it, and also the phrase that we're using.
What is Pretzel Rocks?
Pretzel Rocks is what's playing the music in the background of my stream. It's my music streaming service, so it's going to go away in a minute. So we're just going to have sort of like dead silence on the stream, but that's okay. Don't want to get in the way of... I want people to be able to hear the writing timer, but don't want to have to listen to jazz on top of this other... or hip-hop or whatever, on top of this other stuff.
And then we go to YouTube and listen?
Yeah. So tell you what. So I'm publishing the post. You should be live in just a moment. And there it is. So if you go to cancan'twrite.com in the upper left hand, the latest post there, you can click on that. See the image. See a link to the music. You should be all set to go. So now all there is to do is shut down the normal stream music here. We'll save that for later. Minimize that. All right. So the way this is going to work is there's that newfangled writing timer over to the side. We're going to do roughly 22-minute sprints. You'll see, and each section here has a 2-minute warning. So we're going to start writing right away, and then when it gets within 2 minutes of the writing section being done, you'll hear the first beep. And if you look at the text on the timer, it says something like finish up, and then we'll take a 8-minute break in between. So why 22 and 8? Just so that it's easy to make it into half-hour sections that I can then pile up into hour-long super sprints, right? Okay. I'm going to kill my mic here shortly so that people in my house can actually use the kitchen and that kind of thing without noise bleeding over into the mic. I am also going to kill desktop audio so that We're not picking up any random beeps or anything from my computer, and we're going to get started. Here's the thing. If you happen to use a different image or use a different song, do me a favor, share it either in the chat or you can put a comment on the post, either way, but let me know what you're using. I'd love to see what's inspiring you. All right, take care. We'll see you in 20. All right. There is one sprint. Let's see. All I got done is some setting description and a character. Still don't know where you're going. That's okay. I actually, I'm sure you know that's okay. But I find that very often too. It's funny. It turns out 22 minutes is not a long time to write. And I very often will. I like immersing myself in the details of whatever it is I'm looking at, because sometimes that's where I'll notice something that stands out, right? Something that's odd or could be misinterpreted, or and so then that's where the rest of the idea comes from. So yeah, anything you can do to keep writing. So whatever works for you. How about you? How are you doing?
Me?
Uh-huh.
Sleepy.
Huh?
So sleepy.
So sleepy? Yeah. I think we're all having kind of a sleepy Saturday. I just realized the mic was like a million miles away from me. How's that? It's good when it's right here for talking. Super hyper focused. Yeah. Nothing says you have to take a break, although yeah. I think, to me, I find that the time in between to sort of exhale can be a good thing too. Exploring, maybe doing audiobook, voiceover work. Oh, wow, okay. Cool. Not sure if you can cut the mustard, though. Oh, well, you'll never know till you try, right? I thought about trying to do voice work for a while. But when you really get into it, if you want to be like, if you look at the sorts of things that you might need to read, they're going to be a lot. Like, the thing that kind of tripped me up was the idea of having to do foreign languages. Like, when I started listening to some other audiobooks and there'd be phrases just in French, that kind of thing. And I'm like, I cannot actually do that. I have a little bit of a speech impediment. I can't even say X sounds very well. Anyway, there are a lot of things where I'm like, if I do it casually, like if I write a short story and I read my own short, and it's my own work and I can kind of control it, and that I figure I'll use it that way. I'll use it to kind of promote my own stuff at some point. But I didn't want to try to invest in everything that you need to invest in to do it professionally. It's my first time trying to write fiction in a long time. Long COVID stole my imagination to fatigue, and it takes so much energy to imagine. Yes, it does. Absolutely. Yep. That's been my challenge lately too. After work and all the other things that go on in a day, there's very, very little creative juice left for much else. As much as I talked about how I'm a slow writer, I think that's part of what gets in the way too, is that just trying to be focused and creative when you can't do it full time. It's really, really tough. Let's see, exactly, foreign languages. A lot of books you want to read, if you like, needs that particular accent. I only speak American English. Yeah, same here. And then the music kind of gives it an otherworldly vibe that encourages a detached third-person perspective. I agree. Yeah, I actually started out in first person and switched, like, almost immediately. I tried a couple, and then I was like, nope. The camera wanted to kind of back up a little bit. So, yeah, I find the same thing. Is that saying cut the mustard real? Yeah, it is. That's a real thing. That's a real phrase. I just thought a crazy guy at work just preferred saying cut the mustard compared to the cheese. Nope, you can cut both. Yep. Something that doesn't cut the mustard is just not up to par. Yeah, how about another expression? Yes. It is insufficient for the purpose at hand. I know, it's funny, some of these phrases. You wonder where they came from. Not up to par, yep. I jumped to longer one of his albums. Oh, so you're doing more Eric Whitacre?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Still the good lonely vibe. Origin of Cut the Mustard is unclear according to etymology website. Oh, okay. Interesting. You kind of wonder if mustard is, there are a couple things I can imagine, like, grinding mustard seed may be difficult, and so if something can't cut them up, then it's not good. Or it could be that mustard is something soft, and it's like, look, that can't even cut mustard. you know you can kind of imagine where things came from. Oh, he says that in about every other sentence. So he's using it wrong most of the time then. Well, you know what to get him, like, for if you do like a white elephant thing at work or something, just get him like a jar of mustard and a butter knife. There you go. Or it's a play on pass muster. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good insight. Civil War. Is that where it came from?
Mustard? Isn't that like one of those?
Oh, pass muster. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, we're down to just a little over a minute to go before we start writing again. So, nice deep breath. Maybe stretch. We should do that at the beginning of these, actually. I've been trying to think of some things like to suggest for the in between. Some helpful tips. Maybe get up and kind of like touch your toes or something, but it's just sitting here and yawning at everyone, spreading that around is probably not helping. I think you figured out what your character is up to at least. Oh, nice. Good. Yeah, I don't know exactly what my characters are up to. So what's funny is this kind of fits inside the world for another story I want to write. Sort of a not quite post-apocalyptic, a dystopian sort of thing. And so my brain is unavoidably drawing on some other ideas from that story to kind of to lay over the top of this, give me some ideas. And that's it. We're writing. Happy writing, everyone. For those who can't hear the beep, we got a 1-minute warning here. Okay, break time. You know what I'm learning? I write about, at least in this journal, I write a consistent 1 page per 20 minutes. Like it is, I've gone a little bit over here on this page, but it's surprising to me just how accurate and consistent that is, especially when the rest of my writing feels totally inconsistent. So yeah, I got some descriptions that time that I like better. I got more of an idea for the story and what's going on. How about other folks? How's it going? Backsmiths. Today I'm not making tons of progress, it feels like, but suppose entertaining the idea of audiobook or voiceover work needs time. Yeah. Time and practice, like anything you've written. What I used to do that I found helped is just, you don't even have to get a super fancy recorder. You can use your phone and try it out. Read it. If you're looking for some tools for audio processing, there's a free thing called Audacity, which can do things like noise removal and that, just kind of polish and EQ see what it sounds like. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Silent Willow, by the way, welcome. Glad to have you here. So what do I write? So I personally write, typically I write what I consider literary magical realism. Today's actually a little bit more, call it speculative. Not really sci-fi. Like sci-fi to me is firmly rooted in science and likes to explore those kinds of ideas. This isn't firmly in science, but it's not really fantasy. It's not really, but it's based on today's slight dystopia. So what we're doing today is there's that picture on the screen. If you go to, there's a blog post on, I need to put this up here, kencan'twrite.com. The latest entry has a link to that picture and a song that I'm using for background music just to generate ideas. So what's coming out today is, for me, slight dystopia. If that's a thing, I don't know. But yeah, ordinarily I like to write literary magical realism, that kind of thing. And then, let's see, I'm at 466 words so far, which is up from 133 the last sprint. Hey, good job. Nicely done. And then Teal, I'm writing by hand, Legalpad, 5 pages so far. Holy cow. So I take it you've got an idea you're pursuing. Oh, and hey, before I forget, so Teal is actually in the room here with me. Teal is my wife. If you want to hear the beep.
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
You can't hear anything?
Nope.
Okay, put it on the TV.
Oh, okay.
Because I've got Twitch on there.
I'll
Okay,
just
I'm saying if you want to hear the beep, you can hear the beep on the
I
TV.
don't know if I'm going to last that much longer.
That's okay. That's okay. It's wordy, but yes. But see, that's just it. I've written 2 pages, and I can say mine is wordy too. So, Like, there are a couple false starts there. I've got something that I just went through a little bit of an exchange between my 2 characters in the scene. But anyway, yeah, it's going well. Going well for me, anyway. Many word. Yep, yep. So, Silent Willow, I presume you write too. What kind of things do you write? Or if not, maybe what brings you here today? Let's see. Decided to write the story without dialogue. Cool, good for you. Taking that far off perspective. I like that. Awesome. No, always fun to meet more writers. I need to put a link up to the website, not just for promotional things, but because that's kind of where I've tried to create a command to do. In fact, this is kind of, if it works at all, it'll show the wrong thing. But that was originally supposed to. Oh, now it works. Okay, so it's showing the wrong thing, but at least it's showing something. Oh my gosh. I write a great many different things, generally speaking, from short stories to dramatic nature to poetry. Oh, nice, nice. To my current work, a fantasy based on a massive world you're developing. Awesome. That's really cool. World building. Yeah. Okay, 2-minute warning, and we're going to get writing again here briefly. Yeah. It's fun. So the thing, my work in progress novel is magical realism literary, but I also took. I mean, it took a couple of years, I think, and did a lot of stuff initially that was fell squarely into world building, which I don't think. I don't know. I don't hear people talking about doing world building for non fantasy or non sci-fi things a lot. Maybe I'm just sheltered, but it was kind of a fun exercise to do. Down to under 1 minute here. And today we have only 2 more sprints. We have one more 20-minute sprint and then one that's a little longer to kind of make up for to kind of bring it up to 2 hours at the very end. All right, we're about to get back to it. Man, as quickly as some of the sprints go, I tell you, the breaks sometimes seem really quick too. So maybe I'll toy with adjusting that. But all right, talk to you again in 20. Sorry about that. Let it run over just a few seconds there. Deep in an idea. How's everyone else doing? So I've got my ending. This has actually been, I think, the most productive session I've had in a couple of weeks here. So I'm not going to be able to get everything done in the last sprint, but I will be able to jot down the notes and come back to it, and I think I'll be able to finish it up. So yeah, I think this one will stick. I think this is one. There have been a couple I've done recently that, like, yeah, it's okay. It's good practice, but I'm not sure I really want to develop them into anything. This one, yeah, definitely want to develop it into something. Found a book to practice on. Nice. Do you mind mentioning the book? I'm kind of curious. Jamie, let's see. Well, I'm back. Sorry, I had to go do some stuff. That's cool. But at least now your dad isn't watching TV, so you can play games. Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. After this last sprint, I'm going to take just a brief break, go grab something to eat, and then on to the other stream where I will be jumping into the Tomorrow Children. Oh, yeah. So I've not read the book, but I'm familiar with it. Holes by Louis, is it Sakar?
I thought we bought that.
I'm wondering if it was part of the kids' curriculum.
Yeah.
But I never read it myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Did you guys read it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think my kids actually read that growing up. We homeschooled. I think that was part of their curriculum.
It was. And then we watched the movie too.
Yeah, I remember we watched a movie too, but the movie did not really stick out in my mind much. So
It wasn't super tied to the book.
Yeah, I just realized I've still got my music on my headphones. Let me stop that so I can hear people. What was that again? The last thing you said?
Oh, I don't remember if the movie was really close to the book or not.
Oh yeah, there's that too. Shia LaBeouf was in that.
Yeah.
Got a good short story here, I think. Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, fun to start with something that you feel kind of passionate about too, so that you can just naturally bring that emotion to it. You've got action at least. Cool. So let's see. What kind of genres or styles are people writing in today? What kinds of things is this bringing to mind? And thematic continuity from the beginning to the end. That's cool. Weirdly for me, dystopian. Awesome. No, that's really cool. I think that if you're using the music that I picked along with this, I can totally see that. I think the combination of that particular style of building with that sort of, like, initially I thought, oh, this is going to be cool Halloween vibe, and I started looking at it. I'm like, not really. Like in mine, I've got two people who are basically in their kind of like house robes, standing out by a very tall hedge and looking back at the house and turning around to one another, and that's where everything's happening, right? And so it's not really Halloween-y at all. There's some kind of, interesting imagery, but yeah, it didn't go that way. So anyway, the point is, dystopian to me seems like a good natural fit. One long sprint at the end here in just a few minutes. We'll call this one done for today. You've tried writing a few times, but your mind can't stick to it because I always double back and change my mind how I want it. I don't want to basically remake a character from a movie. Well, so, that's where a lot of people start. Is, especially if you're not, like I'm saying this like I've actually finished a lot of things. I have not. But just in terms of the practice of writing, I found early on that just the act of writing feel it's like picking up an instrument for a musical instrument for the first time, and you have this idea of what it should sound like, and you start trying to coordinate your hands, and you're like, this feels odd. This doesn't feel like, I don't know, this is not comfortable. Writing to me has been kind of the same way. Like, there's a reason that we don't pick up an instrument and start trying to invent compositions right away. It's good to play other people's music because it gives you something to kind of step into. So maybe freely write as other characters. Do fan fiction. If you like writing and you want to write and you want to get going, and that's kind of what your brain gravitates to, take it for a whirl. Lots and lots and lots of people do it. So I think it can be fun for some people to just take other characters for a spin because, again, kind of like with learning a song, there's a lot of them that's already defined. You can kind of flex different aspects of your craft without having to do absolutely everything. And there's a 2-minute warning before the last long sprint. No, I'm personally, the one I'm doing today, I'm really happy with it. Actually explores one teeny little aspect of this dystopian world, like I said, that's part of this other story. And for me, the hook has to do with a particular way of describing someone thinking of something and trying to articulate it, and that memory kind of being pushed out of their brain as they're trying to talk about it, and linking that to a sort of like a physical description, like what it feels like to have that happen. And so what happens by the end of the story is sort of an expansion on that idea. That's about all I can say. Like, I actually want to try to finish this one and maybe read it, do a reading of it, so I don't want to say much more than that. I can't do fan fiction for whatever reason. You never feel like you have a good enough handle on what an author wanted for their characters. Yeah, fair point. I don't either. Kind of for similar reasons. It doesn't fit with my brain very well. But yeah, I know a couple other people who have written or still write fan fiction and really enjoy it. And it gives them that creative satisfaction, and that is perfectly okay. Art very often begets art, right? Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to say anything. I was kind of hoping you would step in and say, I am one of those people. So, also the writing apps I've tried to use have all these, what you find useless details that at once like, what's the character's exact height? Wait, yeah, see, that's just it. Everyone has their own angle on this, right? You've got to find your sort of take on it. Like me, I write really non-linearly. I will go back and forth. Sometimes, like, the end of the story is going to be written as not as narrative, but as like, here are the beats, here are the key points, more like a sketch or an outline, just so I can get something done. And then for me, the actual construct, when I come back, okay, good example. So when I came, we're in the writing sprint. Shoot. All right, I'm gonna keep to my rules. I will talk about this a little bit afterwards. But yeah, also just overthink and stress about it for no reason. Yeah, I get that too. Like, I have a lot of those same feelings, and then I'm going to be quiet so we can write. I have a lot of those same feelings. If a person decides they don't want to because it's too stressful that way, I totally respect that. I'm not going to tell anyone, oh no, you should do it anyway. Personally, the writing is really important for me, so it is thoroughly uncomfortable, but I do it anyway. And on that note, back to it. All right, talk to you in 2027, actually. Yes, it did beep. I'm right in the last part. I'll be right there. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm happy with that. There are a couple sort of devices in the story I'm super happy with. It's super rough at the same time. There's a lot of work that has to be done, but that's normal. So, oh my gosh, Bobitus, is that the link to your story? Move that out of the way. Put my pens back and such. Oh man. Yeah, let me stop the music too. There we go. Um yeah, I'm actually it is. Oh, very cool. Okay. Oh, let me bookmark that so I can take a look here in a little bit. Oh, that's not the right browser window. It's not letting me copy the link. There we go. Oh, yeah, I've got to transcribe mine, but I'm hoping to be able to share it too. Nice. I'm looking at the first paragraph. Very cool. Thank you for sharing. Let's talk later about like if there's I don't know if there's anything else you want to do with it but I'm looking forward to reading it in its entirety. Um, yeah, I don't want to actually because I this is one I actually want to develop. I don't want to say a whole lot, but my brain is struggling right now between telling me, "Oh, come on, there's not that's not very original. There's nothing new in that," and the rest of my brain going, "That's the point. Things that are totally 100% original are unrelatable." And so you gotta do some kind of. I think it was just practice. Well, that's okay. Cool. It all helps, right? So, um, yeah. Mine is basically, it's a couple of people standing outside that building next to a very tall hedge, kind of figuring out why they're standing there. Is what it comes down to. But there are a couple, like I said, there are a couple devices used in the story that I really like. By the end of the story, there's a sort of unexplained switcheroo. There's a little bit of a switch in context that might be a little confusing, but confusing is okay because it's kind of the nature of the story. And like I said, there's a description early on of kind of the main character trying to hold on to a thought and feeling like he kind of loses it and describing it as the spring kind of popping out and bouncing away. Like if you've ever been working on something and you drop a screw or a spring or something and there's that sense of, oh, dang it, and you have to kind of go chasing after it. That little description being used as a metaphor for someone trying to hold on to a thought and losing it, kind of sensing it leave them as they're trying to grab it. And for me, I inadvertently ended up using the phrase for today too. That this is our prison. I think it was. You got some other music going here. Pardon my yawns. There we go. And make sure that that's actually active. Oh, that's not hooked up, so that won't work. Very sharp change in context there from what we've probably been listening to. This is our prison, yeah, was the phrase. I'm skipping that song. That really does not fit. That doesn't even fit the rest of the station. But anyway, too, this ends up being a short story that is kind of inside a world that's already living in my head as a possible future work in progress. So that was fun, too. Being able to take some of the ideas that I've been exploring in abstract a little bit more and gluing them down a little bit, tinkering with them and looking at how I might explain things. What I started to say before we had to get back to writing was the first version I was writing was very openly describing what was going on. It was kind of like the ideas for the story coming forward and pretending to be narrative. A lot of the time, that's how I will write first draft, is this is happening and blah, 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 and it's really like this. And then I like taking a step back. I say, okay, cool, that's the idea. Now, what if I was a little bit more reticent to tell the audience what was actually going on? What if I want them to discover in their own way what's actually going on? Just get inside that person's head, and kind of like you're describing at the beginning, Bobatus, where you're just describing things, like get in that mode. And yeah, it ended up working really well. So pretty happy with it. Alrighty, well that's going to be the stream for today. Like I said, I'm taking a brief break to kind of take care of basic needs here, and then I'll be starting a more of a relaxation stream. I'm going to go play a game for a little bit. If anyone's interested in just hanging out or whatever, it's also a really unique game. This is not your standard run-of-the-mill sort of a thing. The game I'm going to be playing is called The Tomorrow Children, and it has been described, I think, most aptly as Soviet Animal Crossing. It is this weird world where you are one of many projection clones who are working to restore humanity, which has been reduced to this sort of like a uncollapsed quantum state called the Void. And so I'll leave it at that. The channel I will be streaming on Twitch is this. I go by the name 10 Ton Noggin on the gaming stream. So you can look it up on YouTube. 10 Ton Noggin is on Twitter if you want to watch there, and it's also on Twitch. So that's where I will be here before too long. This was a ton of fun. This was, I think, the most populated short story Saturday that I've run yet. And I love that people showed up and kind of did their own thing or wrote the story, got some practice in. Teal, congratulations on that's your first draft in a while, right?
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah, it's her first draft in a long time. So I feel like I helped that out some. So that also feels really good. That's a pretty cool thing. Yay. Also, it's nice to have my own wife on the stream. I keep talking about how I need to get her a mic too, because I think we would actually be better together in life. Yeah, she kind of noticed. Okay. All right. Nice. Well, I hope everyone has a great day. Bobatus, thank you very much for sharing. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to reading this. This is really cool. And I hope, I've got to figure out when I'm actually going to edit the story. But this one feels close enough that, like, I'm going to try very hard not to be a perfectionist about it. Get a draft complete and then read the draft. Read the first draft, maybe on a future stream. That's the goal. We'll see if that works out. So have a great Saturday. Maybe, if anyone's interested, hope to see you on the gaming stream. And if not, that's cool too. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Have a great weekend. See you again soon. Next stream for the writing is going to be on Monday. We're going to be doing book starts and work in progress, like main work in progress writing sprints. So I will see you there. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.